Welcome to this explainer. Today, we are unpacking a truly profound piece of Eastern philosophy. We're looking at a traditional Thai text that literally maps out the exact mechanics of spiritual awakening. So if you've ever wanted to understand the classical roadmap to Buddhahood, well, you're in the right place. We're going to break down this highly structured guide step by step.
Right off the bat, the direct English translation of our source materials title makes a really bold claim. It translates to, simply sparking the initial Bodhi Mind is enough to achieve Buddhahood. Just think about that for a second. It suggests that the very first, foundational moment of spiritual intention actually carries all the momentum you need for ultimate realization.
But naturally, this brings us to a pretty fascinating question. Can a single, pure moment of true faith really guarantee ultimate enlightenment? Like, if the initial spark is all it takes, what does the rest of the journey even look like? And, why do so many people struggle along the way? Well, that is exactly the tension this text seeks to resolve.
Anchoring our analysis in the original Thai source text, what we find is a highly structured, almost architectural philosophical guide. It completely bypasses vague, abstract claims. Instead, it rigorously categorizes and maps out the human mind's journey toward enlightenment. It's really quite a fascinating blueprint.
To make sense of it all, we'll navigate this text through 5 key areas. Number 1, the initial Bodhi Mind. 2, why the spark fades. 3, the 8 types of vows. 4, the power of practice. And 5, maintaining faith. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The initial Bodhi Mind. So, the source defines this initial spark as bodhicitta. Basically, it's an enlightened mind that has a dual purpose. It aims at supreme enlightenment above, while staying totally dedicated to the salvation of all sentient beings below. So it's not just about finding your own personal peace. It's about combining this profound, universal compassion with the ultimate pursuit of truth.
Now, how do you actually get this spark? The text outlines 2 distinct pathways to attain this bodhicitta. The first one is internal realization. This is like a spontaneous awakening, usually triggered by a master pointing directly to your true nature. Then there's the second path, external nurturing. This is where you carefully cultivate that spark over time by studying the Dharma and getting guidance from senior mentors. The key takeaway here, both are completely valid ways to strike the match.
Moving on to Section 2, why the spark fades.
Okay, so if the spark is so powerful, why do people lose their way? The text pinpoints some very specific obstacles that cause this spark to fade out. We're talking about a lack of continuous spiritual encouragement, maybe misunderstanding the lifelong nature of the Dharma, a lack of deep internal confidence, an unstable foundational mind, and what the text calls severe karmic bindings.
Let's zoom in on that last one, because the source gets incredibly specific about how past actions, or karmic debt, actually manifest as real-world, everyday struggles, things like physical illnesses, sudden business failures, or even complicated family dynamics. These act as bindings that literally suffocate your spiritual spark, and unfortunately, they often cause practitioners to just abandon their faith entirely. It's a heavy reality check.
Which leads us to Section 3, the 8 types of vows.
To help diagnose where you stand, the author categorizes spiritual intentions into strict pairs. The righteous path demands that you seek true enlightenment. You're completely sincere with absolutely no laziness, you're working toward universal salvation, and you understand absolute equality. On the flip side, the deviated path warns against being hypocritical, secretly seeking fame, focusing only on yourself, or clinging to your ego and personal merit. Analyzing these vows honestly isn't just an exercise. The text presents it as absolutely essential for staying on the path to Buddhahood.
Section 4. The power of practice. Now prepare yourself, because the source material makes a really intense claim here. It says, losing the Bodhi mind makes all merit-making merely demonic deeds. Wow, right? It sounds incredibly severe. But when we unpack the philosophy objectively, the core logic makes sense. Intention is literally everything. If your foundational mind is selfish, or if you've deviated and lost that true bodhicitta, then even objectively good deeds are just worldly transactions feeding your ego. They might give you a temporary earthly reward, but they do absolutely nothing to lead you toward true spiritual liberation.
Because the stakes are that high, the text lays out 4 fundamental drivers for why we must have dedicated practice. We practice to repay our immense gratitude to heaven and to our parents. We practice to actively clear those lifetimes of karmic debt we talked about earlier. We practice to escape the infinite sea of suffering. And ultimately, we practice because this Bodhi mind is the true gateway. It is literally the only key that opens the door to realizing the Dharma.
Section 5. Maintaining unwavering faith. So how do we protect the spark? The text prescribes a rigorous 5-step defensive strategy against worldly distractions. Step 1. Constantly monitor your intentions to keep a righteous mind. Step 2. Rely on your own awakened Bodhi nature as your true teacher. Step 3. Hold absolute, unwavering belief in the teachings. Step 4. Maintain a firm mind that just refuses to break when those inevitable karmic trials hit. And Step 5. Apply relentless, unending diligence to your spiritual work. No days off.
But you don't have to do it completely alone. To support those 5 internal steps, the text provides a crucial external safety net. It calls this the 3 not leavings. Basically, to survive the spiritual journey, the Source instructs you to anchor yourself physically and communally. First, do not leave the Dharma place, so stay connected to the temple. Second, do not leave senior cultivators, keep close to your mentors. And third, do not leave the holy teachings. Constantly study the scriptures.
Looking at the final pages of the original text, it really underscores a stark reality. While enlightenment might begin with just a solitary, spontaneous spark, protecting that spark requires intense discipline and communal support. It's this perfect, beautiful synthesis of profound internal philosophy and incredibly practical external structure.
And that brings us to the end of our explainer, and we turn the mirror back to you. We've traced the text's path from that initial bold claim all the way through to the strict daily requirements of a practitioner. Based on the diagnostic tools we just explored, the vows, the karmic awareness, the diligence, if ultimate enlightenment requires only a single pure spark, what is the true nature of your own seed of faith right now? Is it right, true, and great? Or does it maybe need a little external nurturing? I'll leave you to ponder that. Thanks for joining me on this explainer today.